There was a moment, quiet, cold, almost impossible to forget, when I stepped onto the cracked asphalt driveway of my childhood home and saw their faces. My family, once so proud and so certain of their own judgments, now stared at me as if I'd come from another planet. Their eyes flicked from the sleek green towers of my urban farms, stretching high into the sky, and back to me, silent, breathless, almost wary. I could feel the weight of every cruel word, every dismissal, but in that instant, I knew I had finally won something far more valuable. I had proven them wrong. They always said my dreams were ridiculous, that I was wasting my potential, that a botanist couldn't possibly change the world by growing plants in abandoned skyscrapers. They scoffed when I told them I wanted to revolutionize urban agriculture, placating themselves with jokes about city slickers. And when my patents for drought-resistant plants were stolen by a trusted colleague, someone I had once considered a friend, they called me naive, reckless, even foolish. They told me I'd never get past it, that I'd never be anything more than a failed scientist with a crazy obsession. But I refused to give up. I left that toxic skepticism behind like a suffocating weight. I abandoned the academic halls and the bullshit rules, and I threw myself into something raw, real, something that could breathe new life into this concrete wasteland. I took abandoned office towers and skyscrapers, eroded and forgotten, and turned them into vertical farms thriving with life. Green walls, aquaponic systems, native drought-resistant plants, each one a testament to resilience, ingenuity, and hope. It wasn't easy. I faced skepticism from everyone. Traditional farmers ridiculed my futuristic nonsense. Investors hesitated, and old doubts echoed in my mind during sleepless nights. But I persisted. Every setback became fuel, every stumble a lesson. I poured every ounce of my soul into this, believing that I could change the narrative, prove that sustainability wasn't just a dream, but a necessity. And then I succeeded. Years later, my urban farms became a beacon of hope in the city. They sprouted not just from my innovation, but from a deep, unwavering belief that we could heal the damage done to our planet, one building, one plant, one life at a time. I had partnerships with communities, city officials, environmental groups. My plants didn't just survive, they thrived, transforming abandoned spaces into lush, productive ecosystems. I watched once barren skyscrapers bloom with life, a stark contrast to the barren cynicism I'd been met with all my life. So I came home, not just as a scientist or an entrepreneur, but as a symbol of resilience. I wanted my family to see what I'd built, to understand the magnitude of the journey I'd endured. I knew their skepticism would linger, but I also knew this moment was about more than just proving them wrong. It was about showing that persistence and belief could turn ridicule into reverence, failure into triumph. As I approached the house, I saw them standing in the driveway, watching with a mixture of curiosity and disbelief. My mother's hands clutched her coat. Her eyes darted rapidly across the towers, searching for doubts, for flaws. My father's jaw was tight, his eyes narrowed with suspicion. My siblings, the ones who had once teased me, looked quieter, almost hesitant. I felt a surge of emotion, anger, pride, a profound sense of justice, and I knew this was the moment. I stepped forward, voice steady but filled with quiet strength. "Remember when you said I was wasting my time? That my ideas were stupid? That I was an embarrassment to the family?" They didn't reply immediately, but their silence was loud. "I was mocked for dreaming of a better world," I continued, "but I refused to stay down. I took what they stole from me, my work, my ideas, and I built something real. Something that's making a difference. These vertical farms, they're not just plants and buildings. They're proof that resilience and hope can overcome even the deepest betrayal." With deliberate motion, I gestured toward the towers. "Look at them. These are the future. They're sustainable, they're resilient, and they're changing lives, mine included. You can mock me all you want, but I've turned your doubts into a monument of what's possible." The silence stretched, thick and heavy. Then my mother's eyes shimmered with tears, her voice trembling as she whispered, "I didn't understand. I thought you were chasing something impossible. I thought you'd get hurt, like so many before you." My father looked away, voice hoarse, but finally honest. "I was wrong. You've shown us all what it means to fight for something you believe in." And my siblings? They looked at the towers, at me, processing it all, an unspoken acknowledgement that they'd underestimated the power of resilience, of unwavering conviction. In that moment, I felt a wave of catharsis wash over me, an emotion so pure it threatened to choke me. All those years of mockery, of feeling like an outsider, of bearing the weight of their judgment, all dissolved in the glow of this victory. Because I knew without a shadow of doubt that this wasn't just about plants or farms, it was about transformation, personal, communal, and environmental. It was about refusing to let the world's cynicism suffocate your spirit, about turning betrayal into fuel for something extraordinary. As I stood there, I realized I had finally written my own story, the story I'd always dreamed of telling. I was no longer the outsider they ridiculed. I was the architect of a new future, built patiently, one green wall at a time. And I left them with one last truth. Never let anyone tell you your dreams are too big or too foolish, because often they're the ones too afraid to try. But not me. I've learned that resilience beats ridicule every single time. Walking away that day, I carried with me not just my success, but a profound lesson that perseverance, faith in your vision, and unwavering belief can turn even the coldest rejection into the sweetest victory, and that, in the end, karma isn't punishment, it's justice delivered when you least expect it, in ways that transform you forever.